When I look back at that night now, it feels like the turning point of my entire life. For years, I thought life was something that happened to you, something that swept you along whether you wanted it or not. But that night, when Uncle Jason knocked on my door and gently woke me up, I realized that sometimes the smallest yes can change everything. My name is Emily, and this is my story. I was 24 when it happened. I had been living with Uncle Jason for almost a year after my mother passed away. Losing her left a hole in me that I didn't think could ever heal. My father had been gone since I was a child, so my mom was everything. My home, my anchor, my comfort. When she passed suddenly, I felt adrift in the world. Uncle Jason, her younger brother, was the one who stepped in. He told me I could stay with him as long as I needed. His house was small but filled with warmth, tucked in the quiet edges of town where neighbors knew each other by name and life moved at a slower pace. That year was one of the hardest of my life. Most days, I woke up with heaviness in my chest, as though even breathing required effort. Uncle Jason never pressured me to talk, but he was always there, offering coffee in the morning, making sure I ate dinner at night, and leaving small sticky notes with reminders like, "Don't forget to smile today," or "Mom would be proud of you." At first, I brushed them off, but slowly, they began to feel like tiny lifelines. Then came the night everything shifted. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep as usual. The silence was thick, pressing against me. Suddenly, I heard a gentle knock on my bedroom door.
Em.
His voice was soft, almost hesitant. "Yeah," I whispered back, my voice rough with sleep even though I hadn't really been asleep. "Can I come in?" I sat up, confused. Uncle Jason never came into my room unless I asked.
Sure.
He stepped in quietly, the light from the hallway casting a glow around him. He looked tired, his flannel shirt wrinkled, but his eyes were steady. "I didn't mean to wake you," he said, "but I need to talk to you." I blinked at him, surprised. "What's wrong?" He sat on the edge of my bed and took a breath, as though he had been carrying something heavy all day. "I got a call tonight. From your mom's old friend, Mrs. Henderson. She found some letters your mom left behind. For you." My heart stopped. "Letters?" He nodded. "She said your mom gave them to her years ago, with instructions to give them to you when the time was right. Mrs. Henderson wasn't sure if you were ready before, but she thinks you are now. She called me to ask if I'd bring you tomorrow." I stared at him, my chest tightening. Letters from my mom. The idea was overwhelming. I wanted them desperately, but at the same time, I wasn't sure I could handle it. "And you woke me up to tell me this?" He gave a small smile. "I didn't want you to face it alone. I thought you should have time to think about whether you want to go." The tears came before I could stop them. "Of course I want to go," I whispered. "I want every piece of her I can get." That was the moment I said yes. It was a simple yes, but it opened a door I didn't even realize was still locked. The next morning, we drove to Mrs. Henderson's house. She was an older woman with kind eyes and a cluttered home filled with books and photographs. She handed me a small wooden box. "Your mother wanted you to have this when you were ready," she said gently. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were 5 letters, each addressed to me in my mom's handwriting. Just seeing her familiar loops and curves made my heart ache. I held the first one, dated years ago, and began to read. The words blurred as tears filled my eyes. She had written about her dreams for me, about the strength she knew I carried even when I didn't feel it. She told me stories I had forgotten from my childhood, small details only a mother would remember. She even wrote about Uncle Jason, how much she trusted him, how she knew he would take care of me if she couldn't. Letter by letter, it felt like she was reaching across time to comfort me. Uncle Jason sat beside me quietly, not saying a word, just letting me cry and read and feel. That day, I realized my mom had left me more than memories. She had left me guidance, love, and reassurance that I wasn't as alone as I felt. In the weeks that followed, those letters became my lifeline. Whenever I felt lost, I opened one and reread her words. Uncle Jason and I grew closer too. We started spending more time together, cooking meals, working in his small garden, even watching old movies on Friday nights. For the first time since losing my mom, I laughed again. One evening, while we were planting flowers in the yard, I asked him why he never had a family of his own. He shrugged. Life didn't work out that way for me. But having you here has been more of a family than I ever expected.
His words warmed me.
It wasn't that he was replacing my mom, he could never do that, but he was showing me that family wasn't just about who you were born to. It was about who stayed, who showed up, who cared enough to hold you when you were broken. Months passed, and slowly, I started to feel stronger. I applied for a job in town, something I never would have imagined before. On my first day, Uncle Jason slipped a sticky note into my lunch bag that said, "You've got this." I smiled at it during lunch, and it gave me the courage I needed. Looking back now, I see how much that night mattered. If he hadn't woken me up, if he hadn't given me the choice to say yes, I might never have found the letters, never have felt my mom's love again so vividly, never have healed enough to move forward. Saying yes that night didn't fix everything, but it was the first step in piecing my life back together. My uncle's quiet presence, my mother's letters, and the small moments of kindness along the way showed me that grief doesn't mean the end of love. Love lingers, it transforms, it carries you forward when you think you can't take another step. And so, when I think of that night, I don't remember the sadness or the fear. I remember the knock on the door, the soft voice saying my name, and the chance to say yes. Because sometimes, saying yes is all it takes to find your way home again.